Every lead or support case that comes in, there's a person on the other end of it who wants to speak to someone who can actually help them. So not a gatekeeper, not a generalist, the right person. When that doesn't happen, everyone feels it. Delays, customers getting bounced between reps and repeating themselves. Sure, it's an ops problem, but more crucially, it's not a good customer experience. It affects resolution time and conversion, and ultimately how people feel about your business. Getting the right person in front of the right work in real time isn't a simple exercise. Availability, urgency, skills, workload, territory, account relationships, those all have to be evaluated together. So cue the obvious question, can Salesforce just route these to the right person? The answer is, sort of. Salesforce routing, i.e. how leads, cases, and other records get assigned to the right person, isn't the solved problem out of the box. Salesforce has routing tools, many of them in fact, and that's the problem. There's assignment rules for leads and cases, there's Omni-Channel for real-time service routing, there's Flow for custom logic, and if none of that gets you there, there's Apex, Salesforce's own arcane coding language too. That's 4 different tools, 4 different parts to set up, 4 different sets of limitations, and none of them designed to be a complete routing solution on their own. So what most teams end up doing is stitching them together. And when it doesn't quite work, your customers and your business both pay the price. So let's get into what Salesforce actually gives you for routing, where it lets you down on delivering great customer experience, and what a purpose-built alternative looks like. So before we go any further, let's be fair to Salesforce Omni-Channel, because it does do some things well. If your routing case is solely based on availability, then it will do the job. Omni-Channel routes cases, chats, and messaging to available agents in real time. It's built into Service Cloud, so your agents log into the console, set their status, and work arrives. For a service desk with agents sitting in a console all day, that's a solid setup. But go further and the speed bumps start to appear. Something we hear consistently from people who've outgrown Omni-Channel is that it's overly complicated where it doesn't need to be, and far too simple when it needs substance. Omni-Channel is service first, meaning that it was built for cases and conversations. Lead routing? Well, technically possible, but in practice it's very clunky. And round robin? That's the most basic building block of fair distribution, isn't supported out of the box. You'll need custom fields and formulas to make it work. Weighted distribution? Not available without Flow or Apex on top. So Omni-Channel is a good tool for service teams and console, but the way I think about it is that Omni-Channel doesn't guarantee you the best person for the job, it only guarantees you a person for the job. And that's a really important distinction, because getting a customer to the right person requires more than a queue and an availability status. It requires layered, intelligent routing, and it needs to work everywhere your customer shows up. That's leads, cases, opportunities, custom objects, so not just the service context. So this is where Distribution Engine comes in, and the simplest way to show you what's different is to actually show you. Distribution Engine is our Salesforce native routing app. It sits inside your org and handles lead routing, case routing, all standard and custom objects, in fact, all from one interface, no coding required. So let's start with the basics. Leads arriving from multiple sources, different regions with different product interests. You need them going to the right rep, balanced fairly with weighting so your senior reps get a higher share, for example. In Salesforce, you need assignment rule to get the lead into a queue, a flow to validate the criteria, possibly some Apex for the round robin logic, and you'll still be maintaining that across 3 different places. In Distribution Engine, this is all handled in one place. One team, one distributor, you set up your method, your round robin, your source and your filters, then add weighting and caps, and it runs. Leads come in, they route to the right person, and done. But here's where it gets really interesting. Because basic round robin, one rule, one dimension, that's the easy part. The hard part is what happens when your routing needs are multi-dimensional. Think about what the right person actually means for a complex business. It's not just whose turn it is, it's who has the right product expertise, who's actually available right now, who isn't already over at capacity, who's in the right territory, who owns the account relationship. So those aren't separate routing decisions. They all need to be evaluated together in real time on every record. Distribution Engine lets you stack these dimensions. Skills-based matching through tags, so the record finds someone with the right expertise, availability in working hours, so it skips anyone who's out, weighting and caps, so workloads stay balanced. Territory classification, so geography is respected, account ownership, so existing relationships are honored. So those features don't just exist siloed side by side, they combine into a sophisticated routing motion. So a single record can be evaluated against all of these criteria simultaneously, and the system finds the best match. So not just a match, the best possible match. Now, there's one more piece of this that matters, because delivering a great customer experience isn't just about who gets assigned, it's what happens next. Speed to lead, speed to resolution, so those are the metrics that tell you how quickly your business responded, and they're a strong indicator on how good your customer experience actually is. So the distribution engine has SLA functionality built in. You set your response time targets, and if a rep doesn't act within that window, the record is automatically reallocated to the next best available person. So no manual tracing, no records sitting untouched while a customer waits. Could you build something like this in Salesforce natively? In theory, yes. You'd need an omni-channel routing configuration for the availability piece, a flow to evaluate skills and territory, custom fields and formulas for the round robin and waiting, Apex for SLAs and escalation. So that's 4 or 5 layers of configuration spread across different parts of setup, built and maintained by different people. This could take many months to get complex routing scenarios fully configured and tested, and every layer is tech debt that your team now owns. Alternatively, distribution does all of that from one screen without any code. That's the difference between a routing tool that matches people to problems and one that's built to deliver a conversation and a resolution. There's one more thing that's easy to overlook when you're comparing features. With Omni-Channel and with flows and assignment rules, every change to your routing logic goes through an admin or a developer. Your ops team or your team leads can't tweak how work gets distributed without filing a ticket and waiting. On the other hand, Distribution Engine is self-service. Your admin installs it, but then once it's running, teams can create, manage, and modify their own routing logic. A sales manager can adjust the way leads are weighted and capped in their team. An ops lead can add new skill tags for when a new product line launches, so no waiting, no dependency on devs and admins. So the team that owns the work should actually own the workflow. So that's how Distribution Engine is built. Now, if you're already using Distribution Engine for lead routing, you know what good routing feels like. Leads land with the right rep, your round robin is fair, your waiting reflects on how your team actually works. But think about your cases. Are your customers getting the same experience on the service side, or are cases sitting in a queue waiting for someone to pick them up manually? And what about your opportunities, your custom objects? And for teams looking at lead routing software for Salesforce, the question worth asking is, does it handle everything you route, or just leads? Distribution Engine handles all of it. We see this pattern all the time. A team brings in Distribution Engine for lead routing, it works, the reps are happier, their ops team can actually manage it, and then someone in service looks at their case queue and says, why aren't we doing the same thing over here? Some of our Distribution Engine customers have replaced Omni-Channel entirely for case routing, simply because Distribution Engine gives them the flexibility and control they need without the overhead. The product you're already using handles all of that. Same interface, you already know, same logic, same support team if you get stuck. So you're not adding a new tool, you're just doing more with the one you've already got. So let's wrap up. Salesforce is a powerful platform, but it gives you routing ingredients, not a routing solution. And most teams don't have the time or the dev resource to build one from scratch and keep it running. Distribution Engine is a single product that handles routing for objects across your whole customer journey, from leads to support cases and anything in between. There's no code, and your customer-facing teams can own and update their workflows independently. But more than that, it's built around a simple idea. Every person who reaches out to your business deserves to get the best person who can help them. So not just a person, the best person, first time, every time, with a fast response and a real solution. So that's what good routing is in service of, and that's what Distribution Engine delivers. So if you're new here, start a free trial. You can get your first routing scenario up and running in under an hour, and you'll see the difference fast. And if you're using it, talk to us about what else could you be routing. There's a good chance that you're only using a fraction of what Distribution Engine can do. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.